Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Cantor. I'm your instructor for Advanced Child Psychology. I'm really excited about this course because it really takes students into digging deeper into the concepts, theories, and current issues related to child psychology. Our course objectives is something that you need to be aware of and to be thinking about as you go through this course. And I'm going to read those to you real quick. Students will be able to articulate the complexities of how physical, cognitive, and psychosocial development impacts childhood. Students will be able to develop personal applications for various theories and concepts related to the complexities of child development. Students will be able to debate controversial issues in infancy and childhood with scholarly support. Students will also be able to critique current research related to the issues related to child psych and developmental theories and predict gaps in the literature. Students will be able to consider the value of multicultural competence when working with diverse groups of children and families. We must remember that when we're talking about child psychology, we are talking about the child, but that the family is also a very important component to the child's life and to their environment. And as professionals, we need to be very acutely aware of what's going on in the child's home life and school life. Each week we have objectives. These objectives are also in the content section of each week. Students will propose how they plan to apply concepts for Psych 4060. I always want students to gain personal meaning from the classes that I teach. You may all be psychology majors, but you all have unique career paths planned, and I want to ensure that you have personal meaning on how you're going to apply this course as you move forward. Students will be able to discuss the classic developmental debates in a collegiate conversation, and students will be able to critique the most well-known developmental theories. Many of these theories you already have heard of, but they go into much more depth in this class, and there may be some new theories and concepts that you haven't heard of that are very unique to getting more in depth with child psychology. Each week I do provide a scriptural reference, and I feel like that's important as Kentucky Wesleyan does have that as part of their mission. If you're curious about what Kentucky Wesleyan's mission is, you may go to the content section of our course, and I actually have a link that you can go to that will link you to the website information. So this week's scripture is Romans 8:28, and we know that in all good things, God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. So we know that the Lord can use all of our circumstances for good if we have the right mindset. And sometimes we know that understanding the bigger picture can be difficult, but we can trust the Lord. Things can work out for our good and also the good of others. Sometimes our worst experiences have a great learning experience for us and can get our life back on track and help others. Can you think of other pertinent scripture? Okay, this ain't going to work. Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Cantor. I'm your instructor for Advanced Child Psychology, Psych 460 at Kentucky Wesleyan University. I am really excited about this course. We're going to go much more in depth in theory, and you may hear some new theories and concepts that you haven't heard of in other psychology courses. I want everybody to be acutely aware that when we're talking about child psychology, that we're not just talking about the child, we're talking about the family unit, the child's home environment, and we need to be mindful of how the external environment impacts the child. And many of those themes will be showing up throughout this course. We have some course objectives. I'm not going to read those to you. They are actually in the week 1 link for the course in the Brightspace. However, I do want you to be thinking about these objectives as you go along, because these are going to be your takeaways from the course in general. And then each week we also have weekly objectives, and I want you to read those objectives and making sure that you're able to, so students will be able to, and then I want you to make sure that you're able to do those things by the end of the week. The assignments do line up with the objectives, and I feel like that we have a variety of assignments, and you're going to do some research of your own, which I'm really excited about, because when we're talking about a 4,000 level course, you're going to be expected to know not just what's in the textbook, but also more of the current literature. As we know, textbooks, sometimes it takes a while to get those published, and by the time they're published, they're almost out of date in a sense. I do think this textbook is really good. It's a lot to read, so you need to be mindful of the reading commitment in this course as well as the research commitment. Each week, I will also have a scriptural reference and just a brief explanation of why I've chose that scripture. If you're curious why we integrate faith and learning into this course, you can go to Brightspace into the content section, and there is some information about Kentucky Wesleyan's mission. And I feel like that's important because I know that not everyone may be a believer, and that's okay. But I do integrate that into the course just because of Kentucky Wesleyan's mission and vision and how that connects to the topics that we are discussing. Anyway, this is the week 1 instructor PowerPoint. There's also a publisher PowerPoint. So I hope that you take time to review all the information. I try to have some very interesting videos and information for you to read as supplemental information to the textbook. I know it can get really boring sometimes just reading a textbook. So I hope that all the information combined makes for a very pleasurable learning experience. Thank you and God bless.